Hi, my name is Alexis. I'm a relationship counselor and a former dismissive avoidant, and I'm making this video to explain you a little bit how it feels for an avoidant to break up, what's going on in their mind after a breakup, and I will also explain the reasons they sometimes come back, because yes, sometimes they come back. Jingle.
IGetMyExBack.com. Everyone deserves a second chance.
So key traits of avoidance, perhaps you know those traits, but I would remind them because it's very important to understand in the context of a breakup. First of all, they have this deep fear of commitment. It's very hard for them to commit to a relationship or to commit to things more broadly. The idea of the commitment in relationship is that they are struggling to feel depending on someone and someone depending on them. Another element which is linked to this is their value freedom. They like to do things on their own terms. They also tend to suppress emotion or to dismiss emotion. That's why usually they are defined as dismissive avoidant. They are not aware of those emotions. For a long time I thought I was cool as a cucumber and I was managing my emotions very well, while in the end I was just suppressing those emotions, which is very different. And so also very classic is the difficulty to express their needs, because they don't know and they don't want to get into a form of conflict. For them, when you're dealing with someone who's secure, they'll tell, we'll have to discuss things, we'll have to debate things. For an avoidant, they'll see it as a conflict, as a fight. And that's from a personal example. An avoidant break up when they feel they suffocate. Sometimes there's a triggering event, but very often you feel as it's a shock because everything was fine. 1 week ago, 2 weeks ago, we were hand in hand. We were having an amazing time together. We had sex. He told me, she told me, I love you. And today they decide to end the relationship. So yes, it's a shock, and it's obviously the worst thing that could happen in a relationship, seeing that the person you trusted the most, the person you loved, is actually deciding to end things. Understand that because they're dismissive avoidant, they're not great communicator, obviously. And sometimes they keep things for themselves for weeks. And because they are bottling up those emotions, because they are bottling up those resentments, sometimes it explodes and they end up breaking up with you without any warning. Because they have a tendency, and I used to be like this, to say yes when they feel no. And sometimes I still do this. They are bad communicators broadly. People who have an insecure attachment style are usually bad communicators for different reasons. Anxious people, they would express things in a way that is potentially too threatening. Avoidant, they wouldn't express things. And so for you, as I said, if you're anxious, you want to address things, you want to debate. For them, they prefer to run rather than address. They, in a way, don't want to hurt you. And that's the problem. It's the idea of, if I reflect and I say those things, I have the fear that you'll be upset. So I don't say it and I keep it for myself. But then the problem is that you compound this over time, and at some stage it's unbearable and they have to let go. So whenever you have this dynamic of anxious avoidant, they feel like, you need something from me that I can't give you, because I can't open up, I can't make you happy, and therefore it's too much for me. It's something that people tell me a lot on my consultation. They tell me, like, my ex told me, like, it was too much for them. He or she couldn't handle, like, there's too many things going on and it's not working. And so what happens is that the breakup feels like a liberation. For too long they felt they couldn't be themselves. They felt like, oh no, I can't go on weekends with my mates, I can't play video games in the evening if I want, I had to sleep outside of my home, and so on and so forth. The idea that they needed to be accountable to someone. Someone depends on me. And now, not anymore. They're free. They can run free, right? And thinking, as I said, I can't make this person happy, right? Because I need my freedom and they don't want this. She feels upset when I need to be on my own or alone, or playing my video games or whatever, because sometimes I'm saying video games, I don't play video games, but avoidant, they want to be in the secure space, their secure base, in their safe space, and some is just being isolated, playing video games, doing their own thing. Okay, and as an anxious person, you might feel like, that's disrespectful. He doesn't care because I want to connect. I want to spend time with him. If he doesn't, it means that he doesn't love me or he doesn't care. Now the real question, will they come back? Understand that we all have a deep need to have a primary attachment figure. So people who have an avoidant attachment style, they are going against nature. And when they're released from the relationship, what happens is that they start to want what they don't have. Remember, you didn't force them to be in a relationship with you. Being avoidant didn't prevent them from falling in love with you, from starting to build a relationship. And maybe you've been with that person for 15 years, and that this avoidance side didn't prevent them from being in love and having kids or history together or projects together. But the fact that now they have this space, they're gonna feel safer. It's always about safety. Now the problem, or the thing that you might not want to hear, is that avoidant people, they don't suffer as much, the breakup. This is something you can learn from them actually if you have an anxious attachment style. Avoidant people, they grew up with this idea of, come on, you'll be fine. Come on, it's okay, you'll be fine. They were not given any sort of support from their parents, and not that their parents were abusive, but they felt that they needed to solve their problems to self-soothe alone. And so whenever something happens to them, they have this ability to self-soothe and also to blame others, right? Whereas like anxious people will tend to feel like that's my fault. Avoidant people will focus on the shortcomings of their partner. Anxious people, their partners on the pedestal. Avoidant people like, it's not good enough for me. And they take the distance with their emotions. So in a way, they don't do it properly, but for anxious people, that's very interesting how they can deal with putting those emotions on the side, at least for the time being. Give you a personal example that happened to me, and that was really helpful. I was recording videos today, and my computer crashed, and I lost all the videos that I did for 2 days. And I was really upset for 5 minutes. And then I asked my question, like, would my wife be upset for 5 minutes or 5 hours? And I realized that, that's helpful to be avoidant in those cases. I immediately accepted the fact that I've lost my files and I needed to do something. Trust me, it took me a while to start my camera again. But that's something we can learn from avoidant people. The same way I learn a lot being with my partner, she's secure, but who has a tendency sometimes to be anxious and to be more in tune with her emotion. I'm closing the part on my personal part. How does it look when they come back? They never come back showing up saying like, I love you, I was wrong, let's get back together. They want to start and have this relationship very much, of course it's superficial, but where things are easy. Where the chemistry is there because you've been in love. I'm not coaching you to get someone to fall in love with you, someone's random. It's someone who was in love, someone who had feelings for you and probably still has feelings, because when an avoidant breaks up, it's not because of the feelings. I've never talked about feelings here. It's about a clash of attachments. It's the idea that I can't get my needs met, but it has nothing to do with feelings. Right? It's way easy, or it's way harder for me to get people to fall in love, and actually I don't know how to do it. My job is just to feelings are there, we just need to address the attachment part. So, create an environment where they know they can be themselves without making you upset, for example. And really grow from that, create that safe space that will provide the right environment for them to think, oh, hold on. I thought this relationship meant this. I thought I needed to lose this being in a relationship with you. But in the end, I don't have to do it. Of course, you need to assess whether that person will commit at some stage if you want to build something, and you need to really be working on your what we call internal working models and developing a secure attachment styles to know exactly what you want, what you can expect, and whether this person can be a good partner, can be a good teammate. That's it for today. If you have any other questions, let me know in the comment section. Don't forget to subscribe. That does help me a lot. You can like as well. I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.
For a long time, get up, nah, I ain't a quitter. Toss me the ball, I'm a really big hitter. Big picture, I'm a straight killer.